What up, nerds? How's it going? Y'all having a fun day so far? I'm alone, as you may have noticed. No producer, no big man, no big J. It's just the two of us, chat. Just the two of us. But I need a break from some scales. Because, scales. So, we're going to do a little fun thing for a man named Christmas Sushi. We're going to paint him up a cool Nazgul looking bad guy. We're going to have some fun with this. Because, yeah, we're going to do it. And it's going to be fun. It's a sweet model. This is the Harbinger, I think is what it's called. It's like a Harbinger of Decay or something. It's for Nurgle. It's a new model that came out recently. Yeah, Games Workshop. It's freaking fantastic, though. So what we're going to do is we're going to do some airbrushing. We're going to have some fun. And we're just going to let loose on a Friday. I have some restrictions on what I can and can't do with this model. So, we'll follow those to the best of our abilities. Silly Christmas sushi. The things you do for people when you want to be nice. I'm just saying. It's got to look like a Nazgul from Lord of the Rings. That's the rule. So I got to follow that. Which means black horse, black cloth. Which precludes us from doing some cool stuff. Plaid School. I like the cut of your jib, Bakamaru. Also, hello everybody. It's me, Baby J. We're here painting some fun stuff on stream. Hello, Paint Liquor. Hello, Lion Creative. Bakamaru, of course. Shard, hello. To all the rest of you who are here, hello and good morning. It's not morning, it's afternoon now. Well, we're moving that off the desk so we can appropriately paint some stuff. So, I have no idea what I'm doing with this thing. But I think the answer is going to be, let's paint it with some greens and some purples. And then we're going to go over it with some black transparent, I think is the plan. So let's start laying down some color. We're going to do some dark yellow green to start off with. We're going to set the tone. Happy Friday. What's up, Panic Bomb? Hello. Ooh, heck yeah. Lion Creative, what's going on? Your first stream is tonight. That is exciting, man. I'm very excited to see how that goes. What time are you starting, Lion? Painting your piece for the challenge. That's cool. Heck yeah. You're starting at 6? Very cool, man. Well, I hope it goes really well. All right. So I don't know how happy Chris will be with this, but we're making it look like Nurgle. So he said Stinky Nazgul. That was the only references that I got. So we're working with Stinky Nazgul. Stinky. Yeah, fart on it and hand it back. That's awesome. Yeah, definitely. Like Shard said, Lion, drop a link in the Discord. There's that socials channel. You should drop it in there. That way we can all find it. All right, so we're gonna work with some brighter colors. I think we're gonna do a little bit of this bright yellow green. We're shooting it from right underneath. Let's see if we can't get this painted in 2 hours so that at the end of stream I can just give it to him. That'd be pretty sweet. What do you guys think? Should we shoot for the 2 hour?
Will huzzah!
And for reference, I'm not getting paid for this. I'm just doing it as a favor because Chris is a cool cat. Let's see here. We want to do some of this pale yellow added in. And because you're a nice guy. You know, I try to be. Try to, be the guy who you want to hang out with, Be the nice guy. It's just nicer to be nice. Or it's easier to be nice than it is to be mean. So why not just be nice all the time? It's less exhausting. How much does a playable Digimon deck cost? It's like $50 is the average, I would say. If you were gonna like play a competitive list. No, it's not bad at all. Very reasonable. All right, we're going with some dark plum. And this is going to be our top layer, where we're going to bring everything a little bit back down. All right, now we're going to mix in some black. Wherever it ran off to. Over here.
Well, huzzah, huzzah! I'll just throw back my legs
Paint
and
the
pollute
Tupperware.
my britches with delight.
Yes. Wild man, how's it going? Thank you for the follow, or the, excuse me, for the Twitch Prime. Ooh, tasty. Welcome back. It's good to see you. All right. We're going to clean this off. We're going to do a bunch of hand brushing on stuff, and then we're going to start making this all work. Hey. FHS. Yeah, it's really cheap to build Digimon decks, Paint Liquor. I mean, jokes are great. Spend them on jokes. I'm in. Airbrush is cleaned. Now we can go on to painting up this guy. Paint me like one of your stinky Nazgul. I'm not sure what that means. Like, I have an idea, but I'm not sure it means that. So we're just going to work with, you know, these colors and we're figuring it out. Using some of this brown gray to throw in some highlights. We're gonna do some like cool moonlight stuff going on this horse, I think. So just establishing some of these highlights here. And this model's got all sorts of details on it. This is ridiculous. I think the other thing we're going to do is we're going to do the kind of like dry brush effect that we did on the bronze and rust on all the parts that are going to be bronzy and rusty on this model. I think that makes a lot of sense. It will look really cool. It'll be a nice time-saving measure as well. Get this crow with these highlights as well. We're just kind of building out all this area of black cloth, building up rough highlights on it. We're going to punch these highlights up a little bit more. We're going to go through and we're going to airbrush all the glaze of black transparent over this afterwards. So I'm just trying to build up the gradients ahead of time, so that when we apply that glaze, like we did on Obi-Wan Kenobi's cloth the other day, then we end up with a nice clean result. Let's see here. I think I kind of want to do some like interesting green highlights. No, I want to do some cooler highlights. Green, warmer highlights. Go to like a purpley highlight. Maybe. Or not. We'll go pale. Oh, there we go. Let's do faded plum. These will be some weird looking highlights. I'm into it. I'm just experimenting here, guys. I have no idea what this is going to end up looking like, but we're going to try it. What's up, Wad Tomato? Wad Tomato, Jess, Omnicron, hello. Yeah, this is exactly what this is, Wad Tomato. Yeah, we're painting this up for Christmas sushi. This is it's a fun little gift. Having some fun with it. He requested a Nazgul themed rider, so that's exactly what we're doing. We're inspiring ourselves with the Nazgul. So we're gonna have a black horse with a black rider. Which is super fun to paint. But we're gonna do it anyways. Because that's what friends do. They paint silly things with their friends. Also, this model's pretty cool, so I wanted to paint it. It's not the choice that I would have made for how to paint it. Thank you for the Twitch
Well,
Prime,
huzzah,
Jess.
huzzah. I'll just throw back my legs and pollute my breeches with delight.
Got sirens going around all over the place. Thanks, police. We're trying to stream here. Thank you. Gosh. Why is it so loud outside? What's up, Punisher? Yeah, this is one of the new Nurgle models that released. Like the Harbinger Decay or something like that. I don't remember exactly what the name is of it. We're painting it up for Le Christmas Sushi. We had a great time recording some stuff yesterday for you guys, so stay tuned for that. It's gonna be a blast. I'm very excited. We always have a lot of fun whenever we do recording sessions here in the studio. It will be great. And some nice highlights. I kind of like how this highlight progression is coming along with this brown green, or I'm sorry, brown gray with this faded plum brought into the highlights. I think it looks really nice. Incorporate some more of this faded plum. Strengthen these highlights just a little bit, because we are going to go over it all with a glaze of black transparent afterwards. Oh my gosh, I can hear him yelling in the background. Oh, I wish you guys could be here for this. It's so funny. They're recording a new commercial, and I could just hear Jason yelling in the background for the commercial. It's so funny. That is exactly what he's eating. That's exactly what he's yelling, Bakamar. How did you know? And we're gonna do all of this black first, so we're gonna get it all to the point where it's done, like done, and we're gonna do all the you know, the glazes and everything on it, and then we're gonna paint all the rest of the armor and stuff on all the extra bits and bobs around the model afterwards. That way we get all the detail we're looking for. I think I need to broaden the highlights on these a little bit. I'm gonna get blown out, I think, as we work down. So we'll just take a nice thin application of our original color. Add a touch of that faded plum to it. Slim Down Turtle Meat. Hello. You have an old camo green, maybe from our first run. I got a question about the newer version, if there is one. The camo greens should be the same. I mean, I haven't been here for the entirety of its life on the shelves, so I can't tell you for sure if it's gone through, you know, a second iteration. But I can try and answer your question. Go ahead and send it forth into the ether. That is the Twitch chat. Hi, Dr. Rhino. How's it going? Jason's doing busy boss things. Being the busy boss man that he is. Just kind of blending all these highlights together. The version you had would not stick to models easily. Should get a machine and manually should get hand mixing, no matter what it did, would not stick to your model. Airbrush them off. Have you tried picking up a new bottle? Turtle? Like, how older of a bottle are you talking about? And to answer your question specifically, that should not be happening. And we go through pretty extensive testing here to make sure that that stuff does not happen. So I'm not sure what's causing your issue, but it should not be happening. Are you applying primer to the model? Yeah, that's really weird. I mean, it could be any sort of weird contaminants from laying around for a long time, or with maybe with the lid open. I mean, it should not be happening. That's a really odd thing to have happen. And I mean, we have bottles around here that have been around for ages, and they still work just fine. So I'm not sure what exactly happened to your bottle. We're putting these really strong highlights on here, which should hopefully cool off a lot once we get into the actual painting with the airbrush. We'll do the glazes with the black transparent. This looks so weird without painting all the rest of the stuff around it. Oh ho! Meltdown. Just got your Evo bag. My god, you guys do great work. Thank you so much. We are absolutely in love with our Evo bag. We think it is freaking spectacular. So we're glad that you are enjoying it as much as we do. That's freaking awesome though. Did someone say Evo bag giveaways? Stop it, Shard. All right, we're gonna start doing some of this glaze, and we're gonna see how this looks. Black transparent. Here we go. All right, so my mix for this: 2 dots of the black transparent. Let me go. Oh, that's gloss varnish. We don't want to use that. Where did my glaze wash medium go? And it is here. I'm gonna do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then half again as much water. This is gonna be really subtle. How long to gargle for? 5 minutes. So we're working this down for a minute. All right. So, that's, I think, a good point where we can move on to doing the rest of the stuff. Which I think will make this look really cool. So, we're going to take our dark silver. Oh, no, we're not. We're going to take burnt sienna. And we're going to base coat all of our silver in burnt sienna. Which is a lot. Lurkin, be right back. Oh my gosh, Paint Liquor. You're leaving us again? You left for family dinner last night, and you're leaving us again to lurk? How dare you? It's a nice little reprieve from Scales, I'm not gonna lie. A little bit of just some weird, beat up, rusted out metal stuff like that. Yeah, this is burnt sienna. So we're working on building up like a rust effect. So we're starting with burnt sienna as the base. It's a good base for rust. Memory Garden. Yeah. He's got lots of little metal bits on him, which will be cool to go through and paint up. Stuff like the shoulder pad. He's got like a back of the neck gorget thing almost. Amazing how prominent a lot of this metal ends up being on the model. It's kind of interesting. Hello. Welcome. How did the thing go? I could hear you from in here, so it sounded good.
Oh, God. Hi, chat.
He just did a thing.
That was a thing that we just did. Oh, my God.
I'm painting up a Christmas sushi special over here.
Put us on. Do two painter. You get two painter up?
Yeah.
That's Jen in her world famous unicorn suit.
Oh my gosh.
During our commercial shoot. In what will be, it's a behind the scenes sneak peek of what will be the brush production area. That is the brush production room. But right now it's the filming Jen holding a Mondo paintbrush on a green screen.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, it's so good.
We are a bunch of goofballs.
It's so good.
Between what we recorded yesterday and what you recorded today, I don't know. I don't know if chat can handle it.
It's so good.
Did Chris show you what we recorded yesterday?
No, he said it was good though.
Oh my god, it's so funny.
Yeah, he said it was really good. So I'm excited to see it. That was the end. We at the end of shooting, we just shot our newest commercial, and I may be a tad disheveled from it because I got doused with a water hose. I had Jacob, who comes and sits in with us on stream a lot. You can go back to single cam if you want. I'm not going to paint.
Okay.
Jacob doused me with a water hose. I walked through the office this morning and I go, I'm taking bids on who gets to spray me with a water hose. And Jacob was like, ooh, ooh, ooh. And so nobody else would fight him for it. Everybody let him go, so. Xenobond, you thought it was a fire axe? No. Gentlemen, what's going on?
We're painting up a Nurgle ring wraith for Christmas sushi.
For who?
For Christmas sushi.
Oh, that's right. He plays Nurgle.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna go inhabit the producer's desk.
Do it producer's desk or comfy chair?
Well, no, I'm gonna go over here and sit in the producer's.
Oh, okay. I needed a break from scales.
From 10 million scales.
Oh my god. I mean, it's looking great, but man.
It looks fantastic, dude. So that's really good.
It's just, sometimes you're just like, you sit down to paint, you're like, I can't do scales right now.
Yeah, exactly.
I can't do scales.
It's too much. All right, there we go. Boom.
Boom. We got the man of the hour.
Boom. Jade is my lamp color. Oops. Jade is my lamp color. What's going on, chat? How's everybody doing? How we doing?
Let them know, chat. Let them know.
How we doing? How's everybody feeling? Friday, the weekend's about to come. Anybody got big old plans? Big old plans? Mucho tirado. Memory Garden says avoiding work. You?
He just
I also am
recorded a video.
avoiding work, it appears. I am also avoiding work. The gentleman says that color's pretty sweet. It must be one you don't have. What are we talking about? Burnt sienna? Looks like you're using burnt sienna.
I am, in fact, using burnt sienna.
Burnt sienna.
Very good color. If you don't have it, available on our store.
But yes, our commercial for the day included a large brush, a water hose.
Me doing silly dance things.
He did do some silly dance things, which was an event unto itself.
You loved it.
I did actually love it. I laughed out loud. It was very good.
You did.
It was very good. Omicron, what's going on? Panic Bomb. Been painting your challenge piece all day. Probably be doing that over the weekend too. Nice. Paint time is never a bad thing. I will get, the paint time I will get will be much different because I will be painting a wall.
You're painting a wall?
I gotta do like drywall work this weekend.
Oh, that sounds
at the old house.
Like so much fun.
Thanks. Quad Tomato says, we'll feel better when work is done. Your partner and I had over our 4-year anniversary on Tuesday, so you're going out to their place this weekend for games and just relaxing. I like it. I like it. Baca says, I can't think of what to do for the contest. The freehand. You have anything with a banner or like a barbarian that needs tattoos?
I mean, you could almost pick anything, right?
A tank that needs an emblem, Space Marines that need stuff on their shoulder plates. Easy, low-hanging fruit stuff. You don't do a lot of freehand, which is the point, granted. Yeah, oh yeah, definitely, that's the thing, right? Is that freehand is one of those that a lot of people will actually actively avoid. Yep. And it's more about the process. So I intend to do some, I'll find a miniature that I can do some freehand on so that I can work on showing you how to build up shapes to create your freehand piece. Because if you just go in, like say you want to paint a skull and you don't really know how to draw very well, there's still a very simple method to create a skull, right? It's basically the draw 2 circles, finish the damn owl, but it's all the steps that they didn't tell you about finishing the owl that gets it done, right? Death from Impulsor. I be putting dry core floorboards down in your basement this weekend so you can paint during the winter. Oh, so you're building out a spot for you to paint in the basement? Nice.
Very cool.
The work may not be fun, but the end will be great. Paint a stinky Nazgul on the wall. Stinky Nazgul. Why they gotta be stinky?
That was literally the only piece of so when Chris was like, here you go, I want you to paint this. I was like, cool, I'll paint it. That sounds like fun. And he was like, I want you to paint it like a stinky Nazgul. I was like,
why gotta be stinky?
Like, yeah.
What did Nazgul ever do to him?
I mean, it is an Urgle, man.
What did the Nazgul ever do to him?
I mean, be stinky.
Which Pro Acryl paint colors, Spatsnat, are you putting on your wall? You might want to use that size 100 brush that Jen just had in the picture. Luckily, we have like actual latex, indoor latex for the house that matches the other paint on the wall, I hope.
Yeah, it would really suck if it didn't.
Nobody bathes in Sigmar. What? They bathe in the blood of their enemies. You have a Gargant you're working on? Maybe you can get some freehand on that. Ooh.
Yeah, do some tattoos.
The Gargant has like shields, but I think some of them have like the Lumineth emblems on them. I'm trying to remember. But on the skin, you could do tattoos for sure. There's lots of big open areas of skin on a Gargant. And he has like the leather, tabard thing. You imagine the Nazgul probably don't smell great. Hey, this is all subjective. I'm not down for this conspiracy.
This conspiracy.
I think that while the Nazgul are not like necessarily the people you're trying to go have a beer with, that you got to give them a chance. Maybe they wear deodorant.
I don't know if that's true.
Well, you don't have to know, but you can't say beyond a shadow of doubt that it's not true.
I mean, I could say that.
You could, but then you'd be like these people. You're not giving them a fair shake.
Do they really deserve a fair shake?
You're the heretic here, so I think that you should be defending them if nobody else will.
If I were truly a heretic, then I would be random with my decisions on whom to associate with.
That's true. A being of chaos would be completely chaotic.
Yeah. Which
He got me, Chad. I done got.
Which I do.
I done got.
I am that.
A lot of thick cotton robes near a volcano. They have to stink. I mean,
They're not
you
really
think the
close
Nazgul
to
sweat?
No.
I mean, the whole point is that they're kind of ethereal, right?
They're ghosts,
Yeah.
basically.
Spirits.
Yeah.
I don't think spirits sweat. Want some ASMR?
Snack time. What's on the snack menu?
I'm ASMRing them to death. Somebody out there with like a ASMR fetish just got their daily pleasure.
Got their daily dose.
Paint like yeah, I agree. I think ring rakes smell like dusty robes and like dirty armor, dirty metal. You're converting your Gargant to Nurgle so that you can run it as like an ally or something like that? That's cool. I know there's still like a Chaos Giant. It goes with the Beast of Chaos army. You can put him in there. I don't know if you can run a Chaos Giant in just regular Chaos, though, can you?
I have no idea.
I don't play those games.
I don't play them much either.
Anybody that got close enough to a Nazgul is no longer around to tell about it. That's true. That's why I say you can't just assume they stink. A Gargant is going to be a proxy for a Demon Prince or a War Dog? That thing's huge, dude. It's 2 times as bigger than a War Dog.
It is quite a bit larger.
It's 2 times bigger than a Demon Prince.
Yep.
The Gargant's bigger than the named demon guy.
Crandus? No.
Oh, a Man Crusher. The small ones. Okay, gotcha. That makes more sense. Yeah, Bellacore. You're talking about the small ones. The ones that come in like threesomes. Yeah, those are cool. I don't like those models as much, just visually, but they're neat to convert. The big Gargants are just great models. Right? The Mega Gargants, I guess that's what they're called. The one I painted. They're just great models. They have just enough detail. I think GW did it just right, which is rare.
That's true.
No, Omicron, you were right. Like I always forget the big ones are called Mega Gargants. So many names, so little time. I can't keep up with all this crap.
It's pretty impossible.
Mo, love your face. What's going on?
Hello, Mo.
See, I shot our commercial today. It is introducing a fictitious new product. I think you guys and gals are going to get a kick out of it. It's our standard Monument Hobbies craziness, so it should be fun. It's in the vein of the Don't Eat the Paint ads that are out there right now, except it's live action. If you start AOS, it'll be a Gargant army. Christopher plays a Gargant army.
These are like furry monsters more than they are.
Baby J said I was screaming. Oh, did you hear the Don't Eat the Paint at the end? Is that what you hear me? I had to yell. I had to record the Don't Eat the Paint because we're going to do, that's not a video thing. That was just audio only, and I had to kind of scream, Don't Eat the Paint. You'll understand when you see the commercial. How about an IV drip of paint? It's still ingesting, technically. Yeah, we could use the Don't Eat the Paint vocal track for like a new sub alert. That'd be awesome.
Actually, a great idea.
Need to make a mental note of that.
Yeah.
That's a good one. The IV would be worse than eating the paint. Oh, yeah. I heard the IV goes completely around things like your liver. Like, there's a reason why they don't put peanut butter sandwiches in IVs. Baca says, that is just the good work I do for free. We like to look at it more like bartering. You guys every now and then come up with really great ideas that we can utilize in the company, and we give you us.
And we give you us. Seems like a fair trade.
Plaid paint!
You going on about the plaid again?
I can't stop him. Mo says he wants to renegotiate his deal.
Which deal?
Exactly.
Duly noted. No more deals for Mo.
No more deals for Mo. Yes, he did write deal in quotation marks. So I think he's on our level. He's just trying to get more out of this barter agreement than he's giving. Mo just got a fully painted model.
Mm-hmm.
It only took him like 6 years to get it.
Hey, you got it, though. You're welcome, Mo.
$1 million channel points to do something in plaid. Slayer Street, what's going on? Good to see you.
Hello, everyone.
I did find some interesting apps that you can use now that will allow you to do cool stuff with channel points.
Oh, that's cool.
They're like add-ons in Twitch. So I'll have Gabe look at those and see if we can't come up with something that might be fun to do. You know? Well, the stream events dock does not work. You wrote that on the paper it sits on in the display case. Only took 6 years to get. Well, it wasn't actually 6. If I remember correctly, it was probably more like 3
3 months?
years.
Oh, okay.
Maybe 4.
To get what?
That model I painted for Mo.
No, you painted it for the challenge for the month before I got here.
But it had been sitting here for a long time.
Oh.
And it had already been painted once. And then I primed over it. In a stream, I primed over it just to make everybody cry. It was painted in a fire and moonlight dual lighting scheme originally.
That's pretty funny.
You accidentally made Cookie Monster's face on the gargant? Where? Like on his face? Slayer Street's like, you monster. I like the way it turned out better this way. I was really fully invested in the paint job going through and doing the old photo, right? I thought that pose and everything worked really well that way. The other way was really cool too, but after the setup, I just lost interest in it. So, Cookie Monster is a demon prince. I would buy that for $1. He did Cookie Monster on his belly. Now that I need to see. That's awesome. You said you posted it over in the Discord. We'll look at it after the stream. We're going to have to come up with some lingo in the commercial to put in there that it's not a real product, because I found out that thing is actually patented.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
The patent's from like 1978. I could look the patent number up and see. I mean, I'm sure it's still a thing, but we would have to put in the stream, in the commercial, that not a real product, you know, not a real Monument Hobbies product. We'll have to do some you know, fast scrolling legalese at the end of the thing, you know.
That's super funny.
So we don't get like sued by the guy that created the pet rock. An Elmo-themed Chaos Army. Dude, I think Muppets are bad. Like I always have. Right? They act all nice, but they target children. Unsuspecting children. Right? Commercial is satire? What, from us? No.
We would never make a satirical.
It's a fictional product commercial. Well, it has a fictional product in the commercial, but the commercial is for Pro Acryl paint, obviously. But I think you guys will like it. Commercial is satire, as a footnote. Well, Zuzu, what's going on? Kermit can do no wrong. Kermit might be the one saving grace, but he also might be the ringleader.
He's definitely the ringleader.
Right? I feel like Kermit might... He's either like lawful good or chaotic evil.
He's the frog in sheep's clothing.
The frog in pig's clothing.
Yep.
On YouTube, you found a Canadian comedy called Puppets Who Kill. I would watch that. Except you can't trust Canadians, man. You haven't decided if you're going to lean into a Sesame Street themed Gargant or not yet. Oh my God, can you imagine? Like, I just want like a whole army of mega Gargants that just have like Sesame Street puppet trophies hanging on their belts.
Oh my gosh.
Right? Like you'd have Kermit and
get Chris in here.
You'd have Kermit and everybody
Chris
as trophies, you know? Or like your Chaos Marines, you know, or Chaos Warriors in Age of Sigmar that have all the spiky bits on them with helmets and crap all over them stuck onto the posts. And it's all just like Muppet heads.
That would
Bert,
be
Ernie,
amazing.
the Count, Cookie Monster, Kermit, Big Bird. Like one of the Gargants has to be wearing the Snuffleupagus pelt on its back. Now we're talking.
We're cooking with fire.
Shard, did you just get your signature paints? Heck yes. Mail lady just delivered them. It's a good day to be you. Happy Tree Friends always cracks you up. I feel like that's a weird delirium-inducing show, isn't it? Happy Tree Friends? It's kind of like that cartoon with like Meatwad and the fries and the shake. I don't remember what it's called. Baby J's being quiet, so I don't think he knows either.
No, I do not.
Mo's like, kind of along those lines. Aqua Teen Hunger Force, yes.
Never seen it.
Wife got you a gift certificate for your birthday last month. Managed to grab all but 3 with it. Fantastic. That's a good wife. Good partner to have. Doing great things. You won't get yours till Monday, but you also won't be around, so that's fine, Wad. Meet Wad as a hero. That show scares me to death. Scares me to death. I feel like Meatwad was like trying to commit suicide in a pool with a toaster at one point in time or something. I don't know. I only saw snippets of that cartoon, and every time I saw it, I was like, the world is doomed.
Because somebody made it or that people watch it?
Yes.
Got it. Distracts.
Yes. Lion Creative told Baby J earlier about I will be streaming tonight for the first time. Congratulations. Congrats on getting your setup going. Nice that you're going to give it a go. Just remember, enjoy it no matter what. Right? Remember to interact like you got 1,000 people watching you. We will definitely try to drop by. What time?
6.
6 Pacific?
Yep.
Okay.
I believe so.
Dr. Honor has a channel redeem where he will say stuff in a Meatwad voice that is great. Oh, that's awesome. He says 6 Central, so that's 4 p.m. for us.
Oh, that's 4 p.m.
Yeah. That's 4 of the PMs.
4 of the PMs?
So Gabe couldn't get our brand new Mackie mixer working because Gabe's like...
Being a Gabe.
Gabe's not a real producer.
Oh, dang. Shade being thrown.
We have this amazing Mackie mixer sitting here, and I was hoping I could jockey around with all the effects on it, but it's not hooked up now. Wah, wah, wah. It has individual channel mutes. It's so good, except the faders are really, well, they're not actually that janky. They're just a weird shape. In regards to shots fired.
Hey, Gabe? Nah.
Gabe knows better. Gabe is a wonderkind. He does a lot of stuff around here. Everybody around here is. Except for Baby J, all he does is paint stuff. Chad, I wish you could. So where he's staring right now is at me, which is nice because the way the production screen is on the screen right now, he's like right now burning holes through me. And you guys can see him staring at like the rectangle that I'm sitting in. I looked over and he's like,
that's funny.
he's like, Baby J did one of the best employee spotlight videos today though. He sang and danced, and I let him do it. I didn't even say no singing or dancing. Did you see how controlled I was?
No.
Yeah, you did.
Eh,
You were there.
eh. Was I really there?
You were really there. Are you really here?
No.
I want you guys to understand what a professional Baby J is. Today is his day off. And yet he's here streaming so that you guys and gals have got some entertainment in your hobby lunch hour. So never forget that, chat.
Don't forget.
This man came in on what could be technically described as his birthday day off, too,
Correct.
just to drive it home. Does that mean we're getting the dirty command back? I don't know. We might do fun stuff with that as long as we get Jen in here producing. Mo says, happy birthday.
Thank you, sir.
His birthday was Sunday, but 5 days ago. And Shard, that's awesome. You made sure you got advanced flush tone, aka old people's skin. It's actually a very lively skin tone.
Yeah, I was about to say, it's like actually the opposite of that, which is really funny.
It's a very light. I think I just, by saying it with the inflection that I did, I think I just insinuated that old people have no life in their skin.
I mean,
That's why I got tattooed. So you can never tell.
painting all the wood.
I grew up in the central time zone. I'll rate it a 2 out of 10. Would not recommend. Big swath of land.
I feel like being in the middle is kind of weird.
Being in the middle is what?
Weird from a time zone perspective.
I think time zones are stupid. I think we need to get rid of them. Everybody should just be like right now, whatever o'clock it is. You can pick any spot, right? Because you could tell me right now that it's 1 a.m. and it makes no difference. It's just in your head. Because you think 1 a.m., I should be asleep. But if you had grown up with 1 a.m. being the time you eat lunch, what difference does it make?
It just makes it more confusing for when you're in a different place.
Because then I could tell somebody in Germany, hey, let's have a meeting at 6 p.m. And everybody would be like, okay. Right? And you just have to figure out what 6 p.m. meant to you. As far as like, do I normally sleep then? Am I normally out partying? Is that breakfast? Is that my personal poop time? Right?
Well, I think all times are always your personal poop time.
All times are personal poop times?
Correct.
You need to see a doctor.
That doesn't mean that I poop all the time. That just means that all times are for me to poop whenever I like.
It's very existential.
Very accurate.
You're saying that any time could be poop time.
Yeah.
Did you know that all poo-poo times are pee-pee times, but not all pee-pee times are poo-poo times?
Yes.
Just checking. Serenity says it's 22:20 here in Germany. You're just making numbers up. I think, if I'm not wrong, right, that's like 10:20, right? 10:20 at night in Germany. But see, like Serenity, wouldn't it be easier if we were all, let's just say we were all on German time, right? You could say, hey, I want to have a meeting with you at 6 p.m. And 6 p.m. for you would be like 9 a.m. for me in current time. But it would be 6 p.m. for me. It would just be that 6 p.m. is like when I was just working for an hour. I like that better. I think my way is better. Global time. No time zones. None of that nonsense. Right? Global time and get rid of calendars. Or get us back on like the Aztec calendar that actually did it right.
What's so special about the Aztec calendar?
It didn't drift like hours every year like ours does.
Ours drifts.
We have to have a freaking year that is minus a day it drifts so far every 4 years.
Oh, yeah.
Some idiot was like, okay, so our calendar's not right, but what we can do is we'll have what we call a leap year, right? Which really should be called make up for our bad mathematics year. Isn't GMC global time? Greenwich Mean or whatever. They don't call it that anymore, right?
Yeah, they do.
Do they?
Yeah.
That's the mean time zone. That's where they made it up, right? That's like British time.
Well, so like most aeronautics stuff typically goes off of Greenwich.
GMT.
They work in all time zones.
But it has something new now. It's like universal whatever. It's probably the same thing.
I mean, it's kind of like doing what you're talking about. Everybody just refers to what their time zone is as the time.
UTC, yeah.
Yeah.
Universal Coordinated Time. So Julius Caesar made a leap year. Yeah, every year is technically 365 and a quarter days, right? But I'm pretty sure if you look at it, the Aztec calendar was like spot on. The rotation around the sun.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's interesting. Weirdos.
Vonnie says, when you spray primer, how high do you set your pressure? We spray everything exactly the same in the studio. So it's roughly around 22 PSI right now. Right? Like Mo says, around 23. We spray primer at the same pressure we spray normal paint because technically it is. It's not much thicker. And so 22, 23 PSI works. But remember that depending, bar pressure coming out of your compressor is always going to have a little bit of a alteration needed based on barometric pressure in the atmosphere, right? Serenity, he was, when he was doing the metal, we have a technique that we'll call overbrushing. So painting the armor with the rust colors first, like the rusty browns in the burnt sienna, and then like maybe burnt orange and yellow ochre or whatever colors you want for rust or verdigris or whatever. Paint that on the model in a real messy way so you get kind of a randomized patterning. And then you dry brush the metallic paint over the top, and you can see it gives you that really good rusted metal feel. Super fast. And it looks amazing. So it's something that you can do on display models and get an amazing look out of. It's also very quick. So it's one of those rare techniques that you can use for very high-end painting to get really, really neat textures out of it, but can also go very, very fast.
Yep.
Normally, if you're trying to go very, very fast, you're usually skimping on some of your techniques so that you're either stopping or not using as many layers of colors or not blending as much, that kind of stuff. This is one where you can really dial it in, keep speed at the forefront, and get a really neat look for rusted metals, tarnished metals, things like that. It utilizes the texture that dry brushing gives you in a beneficial way, right? We've got videos on the YouTube channel about it, and we do it on here quite a bit. Jordan's probably got a troll model he can show you.
I do.
To show you a larger area of that same finish, so you can kind of get a better feel for it. And he's also got some of the bronze dudes.
Yeah.
Right?
So this is a little heavy. Oop. This is the first time I ever did it, so you can see how shiny this is. I would go much lighter on the dry brush.
Grab mine and compare it. I think mine's on
Yeah.
the table right over there in front of the monitors.
It is. I'll look at it. Right, so this is how you want it to look.
And that's just a light dry brush of your first coat, which in this case was our dark silver, Acryl dark silver, followed by silver. And if you do it light and build it up slowly with the dry brush, then you get to maintain how much of your tarnish hits. And then doing that bronze is phenomenal.
Yeah.
I almost love the bronze more because I just love the warmth of the greens,
Yeah.
the way it works. Same technique, just using different colors. Use jades and green oxides and turquoise, and then dry brush bronze, dark bronze over the top, and you can do all sorts of different metals.
Yeah.
Silvers, golds, bronze, you name it. All of the metals that you want to do work really, really well, and as you can see, it doesn't feel like you've done a metallic paint in a heavy way, but it gives you a more realistic metal look. And, I mean, those literally are instantaneous. I mean, how long do you think it took you to do that guy?
This guy?
No, either the guy in your hand with the bronze.
I think I took maybe like 15 minutes.
Yeah, like 10 or 15 minutes.
Yeah.
It's a super fast technique. Works great.
Yeah. I mean, this guy I did in probably 20.
Yeah.
It is ridiculous how fast it is. But you can really see. Yeah, it's great. It is a lovely way to paint your miniatures. You get cool, quick effects like these. Easily replicatable over a large volume of miniatures, which is cool.
Serenity says, how to paint towel, the white is killing you. Don't paint white. And I don't mean that tongue-in-cheek. I mean paint with grays. And then work your grays and or gray blues. You can use a lot of undertones for white. You can even use greens and browns and build your model up to a desaturated color that is almost white. And then just use your pure white as your final highlight. You really don't want to use a lot of white on the model. Even when painting stormtroopers, I will use our bright neutral gray, white blue as my final bright colors. And then white, our titanium white, is just our edge highlighting, right? It will look like white. It will read on the table as white. Nobody will argue with you. That's a nice white stormtrooper, but you didn't have to paint with a lot of white. The problem that a lot of people run into when painting white and that it gives you struggles is that it creates one of those, something doesn't feel right moments because you can't go brighter than white. So if you paint armor white on your towel, how do you highlight it? You typically go back and use like a shade or a wash over the top of the white, which then dirties all the color and muddies it up and doesn't make it look good anymore. And then you go back and highlight that, and then you're just kind of left with a flat-looking model. Whereas if you build up from a dark gray, let's say, to a mid-tone gray, to a bright gray, and then do white as your highlight, you'll see the model as being white armored, but you won't have to mess with, being overly bright. What's the skin recipe for those trolls? Asked Memory Gardens. Oh boy.
That's a you question.
That's I think I started mine with dark purple into camo green into like a mixture of blue, black, and khaki. Yeah, the lion's cloak that I did for my Dark Angels is that white cloak that gives you a really good white feel, albeit we were trying to go for a dirtier white, so I left a little bit more of the gray showing through, but it works really well. Our transparent white is a godsend for doing white like that because you can use the transparent white over the top of your bright grays or faded blues or whatever you've decided to work your white up from. You can use the transparent white, and it gets you to a look that feels more white without having to use an opaque white paint and fight with it to reduce its opacity and things like that. So transparent white is literally something everyone needs in their arsenal. Serenity says, what are good paint brands you could use? We happen to be very biased here because we manufacture paint. So we are Monument Hobbies, and we manufacture a paint called Pro Acryl. You want to show some on the screen there, Jordan?
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, I'll use the upside down one.
Pro Acryl.
Pro Acryl.
Best paint, period.
Yep. Literally all the stuff that we paint on stream, we paint with this.
Yeah, we manufacture the paint here in our Phoenix, Arizona factory. So we are coming to you live from Monument HQ, where we manufacture paints, brushes, and all sorts of other great hobby goods. If you're in Germany, we have a distributor in Germany called PK Pro. Serenity. So look up pk-pro.de and you'll find it. You've heard of our white. Well, there you go. See? Because of Tau. There you go. Yep. If you're going to paint white and you need white paint, use our white. Our white is by far the best white you will ever use.
It is incredible.
We treat all of our paints are manufactured as high-end artist acrylics, and then we just do all the work to turn them into liquids so that they're easier for you to use on 3D models. Obviously, using a paste acrylic is a lot harder on a 3D surface because it wants to fill in the details and obscure things because it's heavier. So we take all the effort out by making it into a liquid, but it has all of the properties of a very high-end artist acrylic. Sagar says the only issue he has with Pro Acryl paint is that it doesn't all fit in his Evo bag now. Those dirty scoundrels at Monument making more paint.
I know, right?
I blame Jordan. Jordan doesn't know it, but one of the big reasons that we hired him was to be the scapegoat.
The whipping boy.
The whipping boy.
We've got a whipping boy now. Just send all your issues over to Jordan. We'll whip them later.
Pro Acryl oil paints when? I never like to say never, but probably never. Wad Tomato, have a good nap. Re-energize yourself for the weekend.
Let's see.
Shard says it would be a perfect time for another Evo bag giveaway. So we could have two.
Shard has been asking all day about Evo bag giveaways.
When are the non-paint station bags coming back, Val needs? I don't think we'll have them by end of year, but Q1 next year for sure. I'm supposed to have the samples in hand next week. So if the factory actually does give me samples next week, then Baby J and I can sit down, look them over, beat them up, see if we approve them. And as long as we give them the approval, we'll start production very soon. We'll show them off on stream if we approve them. I mean, we'll probably show them off on stream anyway.
Yeah, that's true.
We've got three things that we're working on. We've got a half-size Evo bag. It's not a workstation because it's only 18 inches wide, but it will carry up to 48 paints and has a storage compartment on the back. Has the same under deck storage for brush vault. And will hold a pallet. So it's a neat kind of middle of the road Evo bag like our older bag was. And then a miniature bag. And the miniature bag is one layer of pluck foam inside a fabric, heavy fabric outer shell that piggybacks either onto the Evo or the Evo half case. So. PPS Charles asks, what is your best colors for highlighting black in the Pro Acryl line? Well, that's a broad color. That's a broad question because it depends on what you're trying to get out of your black. Most people, I think, would probably err on the side of bluish. And in that case, I think blue-black, Payne's gray, wind up being the better colors.
I think Payne's gray is definitely like a very regular color that I use.
Yeah.
But you could also go with like plums into like pale yellow for like a...
Greens work really well, so any of the camos or yellow greens, mixing those in with black. Depends on what, because black can inherit a lot of the environmental colors around it, just like any other surface, depending on the material that it is. If it's cloth, not so much, but assuming you're doing armor or something shiny, then you can move that anywhere you want. Blue just typically is the way we envision black. So Payne's gray, blue, black are my favorites. But you probably don't want to use them at full vibrancy, meaning that you want to always have a little bit of black added into them. And then when I start moving to my highlights, I usually add in a little bit of bright neutral gray, something like that, to that color base to brighten it up for my final highlights. I said blue black. PPS Charles. Payne's gray or blue black. If you don't want to move into blue, if you want to keep your black completely neutral, then dark neutral gray, neutral gray.
Also, hi Charles, how are you? Hope your trip back from Gen Con was nice.
No problemo. So Gabe was like, hey, can I please build those trolls for you? I was like, I mean, you can take it and build it. I said, I don't think there's a lot of building you have to do. I think you just have to put them on the bases. And sure enough, those things are like 90% one-piece models.
This is great. I like easy paint building, stuff like that. Pretty clean too, which is nice.
Charles, also hi. Glad to see you're both alive and missed the con crud. For the most part.
Yeah. I mean, I think
Gabe got hit a little bit. I had flown the week before and had really been fighting off sinus infection the week between having gone to Colorado and then come back and then flown to Indianapolis and now come back. And then now Baby J and I have to fly to DC for Nova in like 2 weeks or something like that.
Yep, 2 weeks.
So.
Actually, just 2 weeks from now.
Yeah, all single parts except the War Beast. And the sculpts are really good. Really amazed at the work you guys have done to keep those single piece prints. Very good print quality.
All right, Christopher, you're getting the Ring Wraith, Harbinger.
Der Baron V says, I think back in the 90s, GW had black with purple on Ravenwing Dark Angels. It looks so weird. Purple's also a really good color that you can use. Yeah. Yep. I think highlighting is weird because you have to be careful when painting black that you don't do a highlighted edge that has too much color to it. You want to take your edge highlight back to a neutral color like a neutral gray or white. You don't want to use a lot of white unless you're doing like Darth Vader shiny black or something like that, right? But it again, a lot of that has to do with the actual material. If you're doing hard surfaces like armor or plastic or ceramic on guns, metal, things like that, then you want to go closer to a neutral gray highlight. So even if you use Payne's gray or blue black or dark gray blue or something like that to mix into your black to get your black color on the armor, when you go to your highlight, you want to go back to a neutral color. Don't keep pushing towards blues and purples. Like if you use purple as a way to give a slight hue shift to your black, that's great. It can look fantastic. Same with greens, reds, blues, you name it. They can all make black have a lot more depth, combinations of them. You don't have to use just one color. But when you go to your highlight, start going back towards a neutral color. You know, I think a lot of people get stuck in this rut of thinking that, okay, so if I paint a black base in this case, and then I add a little bit of blue black to the black, and then I add a little bit more blue black to the black, and then as I go to my highlight, I add more blue black to the black, right? And they just keep using that same color or hue, that blue hue, and eventually they're using like sky blue to highlight it. Whereas you look at his Darth Vader, and it has a lot of blue nuance to the black cloth and the black armor, but when he gets to his highlights go back to like white blue, and more neutral colors. So you don't want your edge to have a color to it in general.
Yep.
Even with cloth, right?
Yeah.
Now, cloth isn't going to highlight as high, so you can see like his cloth has that same bluish hint to it on the highlights, but that's because you're basically stopping at your dull mid-tone when you're highlighting. And he could even on that cape go back with some black transparent like he did with the brown transparent on Obi-Wan and blend all that back together and knock it down even more so that you desaturate that blue on the edge. Gozu, what's going on?
Hello. What's up? Gosu.
Shard says that doesn't look near stinky enough. Well, Darth Vader wasn't stinky too, was he?
Nope. Darth Vader, not stinky at all.
I think he was talking about this guy. But
This
that guy looks
guy,
pretty stinky, man.
He's pretty stinky.
Like, I feel like that's a big pile of poop walking.
He's having a great time.
45 Terminators primed. You doing Deathwing? Holy hell.
It's a lot.
Epion, what's going on? Just ordered the new paint sets. Awesome. Have we used them on stream? Yeah, tons. Tons. Every model I've been painting, I mean, you know me, like as I paint and we start coming up with new paints, every model gets some of them as I test them out for different things. But yeah, the Rhino I'm painting well, I'm not painting anything right now. I'm producing the show. But the Rhino that I'm working on, Morgana Le Fay, I've been using quite a bit. What in God's name do you need 45 Terminators for? For Deathwing? Hello? Is this thing on? You want to play Terminators the right way? You paint them bone white. You run Dark Angels. And you slay the world. Valneed says I ran out. It's going to be 80. Plus 2 squads of veterans for my first company. Ultramarines. What?
Wait, why are you doing that many Terminators for Ultramarines? That's not how that works.
What? You had the Vile Needs. I want you to look at the camera. You had the perfect opportunity to do the right thing. I'm not even saying that Ultramarines are bad, right? I'm just saying you had the right opportunity to do the right thing. You mentioned First Company, 80 Terminators. You could have been right. Instead, you chose darkness. You chose the boys in blue.
The true faction of chaos.
Slayer says, I think I finally found an FLGS near me that carries Pro Acryl. Awesome. Vile says he hates blue.
Wait, hold on. So you're doing Ultramarines, but you hate blue.
You ever had one of those conversations with a person where you're like, I'm listening to you not being satisfied with your life, but I also am listening to you making all of your own bad choices? This is one of those. Paint 80 Ultramarine Terminators, hates blue. Now's the time to change if you just primed them. Bone white, Dark Angels. Fixed. Bone White Death Company. I'm with you. Deathwing all the way. Gambit, what's going on? Welcome. You love the backstory of them from back in the day from Ultramarines? I mean, okay. I can't fault anybody for enjoying a faction. All of them have different nuances to them. I think the Ultramarines do have a lot of interesting things. They just always, to me, seem very cut and dry Which, believe it or not, also, you know what else is cut and dry to me, though. I have to give you some basis for understanding when I say these things. Like World Eaters are very cut and dry. Their story has some cool nuance to it, but they're just angry boys, right? Ultramarines are just follow the rules boys. I like the depth of the Dark Angels to some extent. I think the Blood Angels have got some neat stuff going on because of their inner turmoil from the Black Rage or the Black Thirst and the or Red Thirst, Black Rage. Is that it? Red Thirst, Black Rage. They got some issues, some emo boy issues. I think the Night Lords are the worst things since bad things were invented, but it's almost in a way where you're like intrigued by it. I just don't like their color scheme, so I don't think I'd ever have Night Lords, but
Good old Conrad.
Mini Wargaming Dave makes Cornites fun. Strike one. Ultramarines or Space Marines for non-edgelords. I think that I think that Imperial Fists are kind of my go-to because they feel human. Does that make sense? Imperial Fists feel like they follow the rules and they have that Ultramarine good guy feel, but they're human. In all of the books, they're depicted as still having very individualistic attitudes, you know? They'll speak out. They'll talk freely amongst their superiors and stuff. I just have always really dug Imperial Fists, but they are still kind of plain Jane, right? Salamanders are pretty cool. I have not liked any of the Salamanders books. I don't think they've had a good writer. I don't think they've done them justice from a narrative standpoint. I want to know more. The stuff with Vulcan as we get on to the end of the Horus Heresy is phenomenal. Vulcan is a great character. He's one of the characters that needs way more exposition on him, but they haven't given him to good authors, so you don't get it. Sucks. Panic Bomb says, I think I just like green armor. I'm with you, man. I like the green of the Salamanders. Read Graham McNeil. He made Ultramarines feel cool. Yeah. Gambit can't wait for Element Games to get the new signature range. Soon. Hashtag soon. Oh, you've got shoulder pads with all your Ultramarine logos already on them. I painted my 5mm Epic Space Marines for Titanicus and Ultramarines because they just look so good on the base.
How are you going to do your new Epic stuff?
Oh, man, that's right. And it's going to be different, which sucks because they're a little bit bigger. But they're all beakies, so it's really cool. Yeah. I think the other ones are beakies too, now that I think about it.
I think that's actually right.
Yeah, I think the old ones were beakies too. The 5mm guys were beakies. We painted a squad of beaky Marines, a 5-man squad of Marines, and a Rhino to put them in to go on the bases of some of my my Titanicus stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You went Dark Angels to have the variety of Ravenwing and Deathwing. Yeah, it's funny. I've never really cared for Blood Angels. It's never been anything that I gave a dang about, and now I'm really intrigued by them. And not because of the ball books, because the ball books are really bad. The Dante book was actually pretty good.
Now you have a super cool Dante.
What's that?
Now you have a super cool Dante.
Yeah, I like the Dante book. And the fact that they came out with a Primaris model was like right on time for me doing my true scale Blood Angels.
It was fortuitous.
Have you noticed, or I guess you're not far enough along, Baby J, but they have been hinting at, and some of you out in chat land will know this, they've been hinting at there being the end and the death in 3 parts?
Yeah. I think they actually announced that it's in 3 parts.
The actual F? If you've been around for my rant on the end and the death, I'm a big Dan Abnett fan. His is some of the most quality writing in all of Warhammer Kingdom. But The End and the Death was not a good book, in my opinion. It wasn't horrible, but my conclusion was that I said that it feels like they're milking it for money. It had that written all over it because it was a story that drug on in areas it didn't need to drag on. There was a lot of things that were put in it that are irrelevant. There's a lot of stuff in there that's great, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of forwarding this story, but if you took all of the relevant parts and shrunk it down, it would be a very short book. So my thought was that the reason they broke it up into 2 books was to milk it either time or money-wise. Probably more time-wise. I think they probably have a release schedule set for how they're bringing out the Heresy stuff and the new Titanicus epic stuff, and then how that's all going to translate into new narrative for 40K. I think there's probably a reason there. Hopefully there's a reason there narratively.
I think so.
But 3 books is going to make me lose my proverbial S because it's already bad. Like, it's already to the time where they only need a couple more chapters to finish the story, and you're telling me it's 2 books? And The End of the Death was long. Holy crap.
Well,
Hobbit 2 Electric Boogaloo.
there was a thing that came out in their whatchamacallit. Their like what do they call it? Their community site or whatever, where he posted something about the last book or something coming out soon. Something like that.
Well, they keep showing pictures of The End and the Death Volume 3. We don't even know what the cover for Volume 2 looks like.
Oh, really?
The artist has been posting his cover art for Volume 3. I don't think I ever saw Volume 2.
Oh.
We've only had End and the Death Volume 1. Unless I slept for a year. The second book will be 400 pages of them walking through the Vengeful Spirit. I feel like that's where we're at. There's still some story about Grammaticus, because I don't think... Is old Person on the Vengeful Spirit yet? I don't think so, right? At the end of that one, I think we have almost everybody but him there. I don't think they've cut their way onto the Vengeful Spirit, or did they? I don't remember. But we still have a little bit of John Grammaticus story, I think, that has to happen. After him locking down the Alpha Legion guy and keeping the Alpha Legion guy away. Serenity says, do you sell something to fill the crags of bad models? We don't do a putty. We do have a super glue. And our gap-filling super glue works well for small gaps to fill. If you have large gaps, I always recommend a 2-part epoxy putty, like Milliput White or Epoxy Sculpt, something like that. I typically don't recommend green stuff only because green stuff doesn't really ever... You can add enough hardener to where it actually dries, but green stuff is meant to be flexible for long periods of time. So I typically don't use it, but you can.
Yeah, it tends to dry really hard, or really soft.
Really soft. Stays flexible.
Mm.
Rex says, do you have something to fill the gap in my heart when Jordan is not on the stream?
Aww.
When is Jordan not on the stream?
Very rarely.
And you're saying that you're not satisfied with just me? Now I'm hurt. But Mo says got to squeeze as much money out as they can. You know, I want to have faith in GW, and I think that to some extent that's got to be right, you know, but I think more so I started pondering the idea of timelines, you know, and you start thinking about how long between things they're trying to do in 40K, things they're trying to do in Horus Heresy land, and how this story bridges those other narratives and when they want to make those releases happen. And maybe that's why they're stretching it to 3 books, but it's not 3 books worth of info. And they initially said it was only going to be 2. So that's what's so weird. Like, I would have to go dig back, but they said 2 books. I think in Dan Abnett's interview, he even said it's only 2 books. Oh, no. I think in the interview, he wasn't talking about that. He was talking about the Beckwin books. But I know somewhere they said that The End and the Death was just 2 volumes. Now to make it go 3 is very strange. Unless it's that his, like maybe Abnett's schedule with all of this other stuff that he does, maybe his schedule isn't allowing him to make another big book. Maybe they're going to do 2 shorter novels. I don't know. Paint Liquor, who are you?
Who am I?
Oh, Rex says when he's playing Pokemon's cards. They think you're not on the stream when you're off playing cards. He always is on the stream. He only plays cards, like, late. Like, after work.
Are you checking up on me, Chris?
Oh, no. I'm not. Chris McSushi.
Stinky Nazgul.
You stealing my stuff again?
Do you want to look at your stinky Nazgul before you leave?
Chris keeps saying he leaves his stuff in our studio, and he keeps walking out of here with more than I've ever seen him walk through the door with. So I feel like Jordan and I are going to be slumming it with our equipment here pretty soon because it's all going to be in Chris's house.
Oh. Stinky.
Does Poppy approve?
Looks great.
Paint Liquor says you could be streaming and not playing cards. So what they're really saying, Jordan, is they want you to add another couple of days of streaming to the calendar.
Okay. Well, it's going to cost you, chat.
Yeah, I think that as Monument, we can't condone this because we like our people to have, work schedules that don't feel abusive.
Sleep when you're dead.
Chris says sleep when you're dead, Jordan, so he's not on your side.
Well, he has to remember that I'm painting his miniature right now.
That's true. It's wow, that was a risky statement by Chris. Bold move, Cotton.
He's already gotten me to paint it in colors that I didn't want to paint it.
He dictated colors to you?
He did.
And you allowed this?
Look, we do nice things for Chris sometimes.
Wait. Back up.
Much to our chagrin.
Wait. Back up.
Yeah.
When did this start? When was this ever condoned, approved? Wait.
I mean, I can throw it away.
Don't throw the model away. He just doesn't get a say in it. That's not how we do things around here. You want Jordan and Jason to paint stuff? It's in our hands.
Mm-hmm.
That's how that works. Our hands. You don't get to do, here's what the rest of my army looks like.
I don't even think this looks like the rest of his army. I think
No,
he
it
just
doesn't.
wanted it to look like a ring wraith.
Death from Impulsor says, doesn't GW have like all releases planned out 5 years in advance? I don't think so. I think they probably have a calendar of things they want to do for the next year or two, but not 5 years. Somebody could call me a liar, but I don't think that's the case. They may have a general description of what they want to be doing, but
Oh.
New Procro color, Stinky Nazgul. Yeah, Baby J wanted to paint him hot pink.
I wanted to do like pale horse, sickly horse.
That would have been perfect. He wants a black horse?
He wanted a black horse, black rider.
He wants a very Nazgul. I get it.
That's what he wanted. I mean, it looks cool, but
I get it.
We'll have to come back.
There's just so much more on that model. It makes you want to take it a step further.
Yeah, it's like there's so much detail on here that like is going to inherently be like darker.
Yeah.
That you want some brighter color on it to really push the contrast between elements, but he wanted it to be dark. Maybe I have to buy one and show him why he's wrong. Paint up another one. Just paint it for me.
So it's a good model.
It is a good model.
I think Punisher has an understanding disability. He says, shipping you my models to take care of. Painter's choice. Thanks, Fuse. Jordan, can you let me know where it was that we said we would paint people's armies?
I didn't see or hear any of that.
Right.
Doesn't exist.
Send Punisher a pack of Q-tips.
201.
Yeah, I think Pale Horse would have been cool.
I think so too. I think it would have been like way cooler with a pale horse.
Chris is back.
Don't sound too excited.
I bet he's gonna steal some more stuff.
Nope.
You want Baby J and Jason to paint your models? You don't get to dictate colors to us. He agrees to our terms. So, I don't know how that works.
Not how it works.
That's not how that works. I'm still curious as to how Chris got a model on stream.
I don't know.
Yeah. See,
got
talk
lucky.
to Mo.
Interweaving the weaving webs.
Pun, talk to Mo. Because Mo's got it right. He says, yeah, you can ship them your army. You're going to be waiting a long while before Monument Hobbies gets that done. Exactly.
Oh, man.
So feel free to ship us your models, chat.
It looks good. I'll take it.
All right, we're done. Here you go.
It took
All
Mo...
right, I'll take over.
It
Enjoy.
took Mo 18 years to
Yeah.
get one model back.
Looks good though.
Think about what happens when you ship us 80.
Thank you. I'm heading out.
Chris, thank you very much. We had a lot of fun today.
We did. It was great. It was great. The images look good. I'm very happy with it.
Good.
So I think you guys will be as well.
Enjoy Chris's
Stinky Nazgul.
poopy, dark,
Poopy Nazgul.
uninteresting
If
Nazgul.
it's like Kabul didn't bathe for half of age. Okay, I'm leaving.
Take it easy, Chris.
Take it easy. You guys have a good weekend.
You too, man.
I will. All right.
Yeah, like what if somebody were to send us an army? What if a box showed up? Do you think either one of us would live long enough to finish it?
No.
No. No. Will we have people we've passed the torch to that could finish it? Will Punisher's children play the games that use the models that he sent us by the time they get them back? Will the games for the models that he sent us that are going to invariably be inherited by his children still be around by the time the models are painted?
No.
I feel like no is the generic answer to all of these questions.
So if you just send us the models and we don't agree to paint them, we just get to keep cool models. The way I look at it.
What if he sends like silly models?
Well, Trash Can likes silly models.
The trash can likes silly models. JP Got Rocket says, I'll make you a deal. I'll send you money, and then you send me a canister of Jen's Drunk-tastic brush goop. It was sold out at GS last week, which isn't really a bad thing. Oh, it was sold out at Gen Con when he came by. We sold out of it like day 2, I think, right? I think by Saturday we were out of soap. I think so.
I think we
It sold out around the same
mid-
time that Go Bags did.
Yeah, I don't know.
Rex says, I saw those battle mechs. I mean, I plead the fifth. Locks Key says, just use my new airbrush with a compressor instead of one of those little USB ones. I can't believe the difference. Thanks for the advice. Oh, yeah. Those USB ones are garbage. I've heard other artists say, hey, you know, maybe give it a try. Don't waste your time or your money. Buy compressors with tanks that plug into the wall. Don't go for convenience. Go for usability. Period. The little USB canister that is part of the airbrush and all that crap is made for the world of painting fingernails, where people don't really use airbrushes like we do. So, not that what they do is not art. It is in its own way. But they aren't trying to push acrylic paint through it. Don't do it. Mini minis have fingernails. Your point? You're like, technically, I'm doing fingernails. If you can take that thing with the USB compressor and use it to paint fingernails on your models, I will retract my words. You don't get to use any masking tape, though. No masking tape or masking fluid. I want you to paint the fingernails on a 38 millimeter model that is not like a Gargant. Right? No giants, no dragons. It has to be like a dude. A 28 millimeter dude or dudette with fingernails.
A Lord of the Rings miniature.
Ah, even worse, 25 mil.
Yep.
You started out your first airbrush with like a $500 Badger setup and you hate it still? Oh, that sucks, Rex. I'm not a big fan of hobbyist compressors in general. I would always say, especially after finding like what we use around here, which is the California Air compressor, it's fairly silent. Or fairly quiet, not fairly silent. Bad way to put it. It's fairly quiet. It runs at like 62 dB normally on carpet. It's fairly inexpensive. I think I've seen them as high as $200, but generally in like the 150 range. And it has just run and run and run and run and run and run and run. We've used it for years. Traveled with it. Great. Flames of War 15 millimeter. They don't have fingernails anymore. You try to get in there with an air compressor, you've just painted the hand. Or half the body on Flames of War. I remember when we painted some Flames of War guys on stream once. That didn't last long.
I bet you're just like...
I was like, yeah, ain't not happening. I like painting the tanks. The infantry, not so much.
So what you're saying is, when we do Epic, I paint all your infantry, you paint all my tanks.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll make that trade.
Okay.
I'll paint all the vehicles and the Titans.
Well, I got my own Titans. That's fine.
We don't really need Titans. We just
I have a whole.
We just need the dudes.
Yeah, I have a whole Titanicus army.
Yeah.
That's done. Yeah.
I complained the whole time. Was it as bad as when I painted the 6mm Halo stuff?
Oh, I doubt it.
Because boy, did I bitch at that one. I bitched to the people that made the game.
Really?
I think it was Spartan Games. And I wrote them a nasty email. And they went out of business.
That's funny.
Very quickly after that release. They had most of their money invested in the IP for Halo, thinking they were going to be heroes. And when they released that game, it was garbage. I don't know how the game played. It might have been a great game. But they released 6mm game that was all metal except for a few pieces of resin. The metal infantry all came on sprues. And the problem was that, number one, it was 6mm, 5mm size, right? So the infantry was tiny. And they were obviously going to, like, really wanted to reach out for that crowd that loves Halo. But I would just suppose that the bulk of the crowd that likes Halo probably, I mean, it's not that a lot of miniature wargamers don't enjoy Halo and might have liked the Halo game, but I think you are probably going to attract a lot more people who had never done miniature wargaming. And the way to win them over is not to sell them metal 6mm miniatures on sprue. It was horrible. Each one of the little 6mm miniatures had a round base, like Flames of War, right? Your Flames of War plastic guys, or like the old metal Flames of War guys, were the same. You know, you would have to bend them off of the sprue, right? And so Flames of War had it right. Their metal guys came on sprue, and you had like, I don't know, 3 or 4 guys on a length of sprue that was an inch or two long. But the sprue was narrow and flat, and you would grab the guy in the sprue, and you just kind of work it back and forth, and the guy would pop off, right? And then on the Flames of War bases, they had the little circle indents, and you'd glue the little guy into the circle indent, right?
Mm-hmm.
The bases for the Halo one didn't have the circle indents, or maybe they did have the circle indents, but the circles on the bases, the way they hit the sprue was as thick as the circle. So you couldn't cut the sprue, you couldn't bend the sprue away from the miniature. It would break the miniature's feet. So you had to like saw through it. You had to like cut it and then cut it again and then cut it again.
Oh my god.
And then by that time, the circle that's attached to the miniature is super thick now because it still technically probably has some sprue material on it. And you glue it on and they're huge. Oh, it was a nightmare. Thinking about it was a nightmare. And the miniatures had so much flash and mold lines. They were horrible. The best parts was the resin car. What do they call the mongoose? What is it called?
Yeah, something like
Halo mongoose or something like that. The Jeep that the humans ride around in. And then the aliens had these flying warthog. And the aliens had these hovercraft things. The resin for those were actually pretty good. I had fun painting those. Airbrush, they were big enough to have some fun with. But yeah, the rest of the models were garbage. Nighthawk Studios says, regarding the 6mm Halo game, say it louder for the people in the back. Did you experience this, Nighthawk? I felt bad because I really liked, because I think it was the same studio that did, they did a space game I really enjoyed. So I think it was Spartan Games or something like that. They did, gosh, I can't remember the space game they did. No, it wasn't Dropship. It wasn't that same company. It was the other one. Or it wasn't Drop Fleet Commander.
Because
Firestorm Armada, that's right, Nighthawk. Yeah, Firestorm Armada, I really liked it. I still have a bunch of the ships someplace. I don't remember what faction, but I enjoyed the spaceship game, and when they asked me to paint up, I painted that whole box set as a commission for a guy that was their rep in Australia to take around to all the stores to show people the Halo game. And I told them my report. They wanted to report back on what I thought about it, the unboxing experience and all that. And I said there was a couple of bright points. The resin was pretty good quality. It had resin terrain, like little jersey barriers and things for terrain.
Yeah,
that stuff was all really high quality. The resin was really good. It was fairly clean. It didn't have a lot of stuff I had to clean off of it. All of that stuff I liked. The miniatures were garbage. All of the metal miniatures were garbage. The mold lines, the sprue bit was horrible. And so I railed them. I was like, you will never sell this to anybody that will then go out and get their friends to get into it because the build experience is such a nightmare. And I felt bad, but it was true. And I thought at the end of it, it looked pretty good. I mean, the army I shipped down to the guy looked pretty good. We did a good job on it, but I did not have fun with it. I did not have fun with it. And then it was a shame because like 6 months later, they were out of business. The whole company was gone.
Yeah, it's rough.
I think Drop Fleet was like Hawk Games or something like that, right?
Games.
Hawk War Games?
Yeah.
Now it's Wayland?
Yeah.
Or TT Combat or something like that.
Combat.
I think TT Combat has Spartan. I think they're the ones that wound up with Firestorm, maybe.
TT Combat has whatchamacallit.
The terrain for Halo was top shelf, same with the vehicles. Yeah, the resin stuff was really good. I'm glad you saw the same thing I did. I didn't just get a bad box, but the metal was garbage. Whoever made that choice ruined that company. It's hard to say that, but that's the truth. Whoever determined that metal was the way to go, if you tell me that it was because of budget, then you shouldn't have done the game. I assume that the license IP for Halo cost quite a bit to do, whether it was just in royalties or upfront payments for the license. It had to be pretty expensive. And, spinning metal is quicker to get done and less expensive for the investment up front than spinning plastics. Holy hell,
your
plastics.
per unit cost is still really expensive, though.
Oh, my God.
On metal.
Brutal.
Because that stuff is not cheap. Like,
well, no, the raw material is more expensive than plastic, but pot metal is typically, it's not going to kill you, but metal works better when you are not trying to spin up, tens of thousands of copies. Right? Whereas plastic needs I'm being overly dramatic. It doesn't need tens of thousands, but it needs lots of thousands of copies to go out the door to make up the cost of the mold.
Yeah, for
before you
plastic.
even start profiting on the miniatures. So I get it from a business perspective, but boy, they could have had such a success, I feel like, with Halo, just because the property is something that people love, you know?
Well, I think part of the problem too is like they did that like tactical smaller scale video game for Halo, and I don't think that did very well.
Oh, yeah, I don't know anything about it. I never played any of the Halo games. I think they were Microsoft, right?
Yeah.
I didn't have Xbox. Death from Impulsor, honesty is always best. Oh, you don't have to worry about me and being honest. I can keep diplomacy in it. Wraith tanks. Is that what they were called? Wraith tanks? Gesundheit. Holy.
Oh, what the heck? Oh.
Holy 1, 2, 3. That was like a machine gun of sneezes.
Oh. Oh. Jeez. Usually I'm a two sneeze kind of guy. But
Bakamaro, the AVP board game, same kind of thing, right? Mo says he's heard the Halo game was actually pretty good. It was called Halo Ground Command, I think. If you want to Google it and see, you can probably still find it someplace. I don't know how many copies they made. When I got the box, I was surprised it was a heavy box. And then I was like, I opened it and I go, oh, because everything was metal.
yeah.
I was like, oh. I had some of their other stuff. Everything was resin for their spaceships, and every now and then there was like a metal part, you know? Concrud attack. It came out in the peak of Halo. Halo Wars was out and had a good cult following. It was a shame. Yeah, Memory Gardens, I feel like at the time, I was like really bummed. I was like, I thought that was really going to be a turning point for that company. I think that was good property. You know, I look at some properties that you see in war games, and it's kind of like, I don't see it going anywhere, you know? But Halo, even though I was not a Halo fan and I didn't play Halo, I knew a lot of people that did. And I was like, I think Halo could be a good way to get people interested in wargaming. Because it's the right thing, right? I mean, it's like, why don't people who play these like Hell Let Loose and these first-person shooters that are World War II based, you know, how come we can't get them into playing bolt action kind of a thing? And I feel like it's because it's never presented quite right. And I thought the Halo game could be an opportunity to do that and get some people that would be really in. Outsider Arts, what's going on? It's a very creepy pair of eyes and mouth that's going on there, Outsider. I love it. So that's always interesting to me. You know, I mean, it as a business thing. Like right now, we're going through the process of developing our game publishing company, and when we think about making games, it has never crossed our mind to go get an IP. You know, like go license, insert notable IP here. You know, Starship Troopers or Alien versus Predator or Halo or anything like that. I never think about that stuff. I'm like, what can we make that would be cool and new? You know? So from my standpoint, personally, I'm not interested in outside IP. It doesn't mean that you don't make a great game engine that would work really well for a game that did DC superheroes or something. But it's always interesting to me to see new things that I haven't seen before, as opposed to going and playing a He-Man game or something like that. You know, I know Tim's got the He-Man game, and I've seen a lot of the IPs cropping up, you know, that are things I'm familiar with. Obviously, Marvel Crisis, Protocol, Star Wars games, all that stuff, where, you know, the IP is something you know from another genre and it creeps into wargaming. And I think it's cool. It's just not in my head when I think about making games. And, you know, so I feel like it's always interesting when I look at companies that they've spent quite a bit. And sometimes you don't have to spend for a license initially. You just have to guarantee royalty payment and meet quotas to continue to keep the license. And that is a cost, right? Because if you didn't have that cost, you'd be able to market differently, right? If you didn't have Disney tied to your game expecting X amount of dollars a year, you could choose to do things differently in the way you release. So you have far more creative control over independent IP than something. Oh, yeah, by far. By far.
I think I'm going to turn off the compressor.
The what?
I think I'm going to turn off the compressor and head
Okay, cool. We are done, guys. It is past our 2 o'clock stopping time, and we are on Baby J's day off. So thank you for hanging out, watching some paint dry.
I got some stuff to do, chat.
It's Friday. You playing cards tonight?
Yeah. Maybe. We'll see.
Baby J has to go play cards.
If I'm feeling good, I'll go do it. But I don't know. I feel kind of weird.
But thanks for hanging out with us. Remember, if you're new around here, hit that follow button. We do stream 5 days a week, and normally I'm up there painting with Baby J. But we shot our new commercial today. And Baby J was the hero we needed. He came in and streamed on his day off.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you, Baby J.
Of course. My pleasure.
We stream 5 days a week, so Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, like today, we do our hobby lunch from 12 noon to 2 p.m. Pacific. And then Tuesdays and Thursdays, we do the 2 p.m. Pacific to 5 p.m. Pacific time frame. So we would love to see you back here on any or all of those 5 days of the week. Hang out with us. Have some fun. I think it's my job sitting at the producer desk to do the links, isn't it?
I mean, I also have
There is no Jen
power to
here
do
because
so.
Jen is busting her butt doing store orders right now.
Yeah, it's so funny. I walked in today,
Yeah.
and everybody was on lunch. But I didn't know everybody was on lunch, so I walked in and nobody was there except for Jen.
Jen.
I was like,
All
"Everybody
alone.
Call out today? What's going on?"
Yeah, no, everybody was at lunch.
Yeah, Jen was like, "Oh no, they're on lunch," and I was like, "Oh, I guess that makes sense."
Yeah. Jen has been
She's like, "It's
absolutely,
11:45."
she's been absolutely killing it, but she has to. Everybody's out. Check out the links. Check out the store, obviously, if you'd like to see and learn more about our Pro Acryl paints and brushes and all the other wonderful hobby supplies that we make. That's what keeps us alive here and puts the butter on the bread. The Discord, over 3,000 amazing artists. Crazy to say.
Are we over 3,000 now?
Yeah, over 3,000.
Goodness.
Amazing artists over on the Discord. Wonderful people just like yourselves who can grant great inspiration and answer questions and just have general good banter about the hobby and playing games and 3D printing and pets and nerd food. We got all sorts of really cool places to hang out on the Discord. And then the FLGS link will show you the store locator where you can find if there's a store close to you in your part of the world where you can locate our products as well. So thanks for hanging out with us. Stick around. We'll find somebody to raid, show love in the chat we wind up in, and we'll catch you back after the weekend on Monday. Have a wonderful one. We will see you
You guys
later.
are awesome.
Hey, somebody likes us.